Hey guys, this is Miss Silva. I'm here to talk to you about a couple of important things. We're going to be discussing today the topics of anxiety and depression, especially with everything that's going on nowadays. And these are just two things that come up a lot during middle school years. So I wanted to discuss this and teach you a little bit more about what those two words mean and how, if you are experiencing some symptoms, you can get help. So our agenda for today, we're going to be going over a mindfulness activity, which you can use in the near future if you ever become overwhelmed for any reason. We'll be also going over facts and myths about anxiety and depression. We're going to define what anxiety and depression are and the differences between anxiety and depression. We'll go over how to get help for yourself and for others if you are exhibiting some symptoms of anxiety or depression. And we'll end it with a facts and figures activity just to wrap it up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a mindfulness exercise. These exercises can be used to ground yourself, to be in the present, to help you relax, especially during times when you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or just worried about something. This particular exercise that we're going to do is a breathing to relax exercise. It's called the 4-7-8 exercise. This is where you inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 7, and exhale for a count of 8. So we're going to do that a couple of times and I'll model it for you. Again, this is something that you can definitely use, not just when you're worried, but if you're feeling overwhelmed and want to ground yourself and feel in the present. So we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 4, hold for 7, 5, 6, 7, exhale for 8. We're going to do it one more time. Inhale for 4, 3, 4, hold for 7, 4, 5, 6, exhale for 8, 6, 7, 8. Again, that's an easy exercise, breathing exercise that you can use at any time when you need to take a break, need to take a breather, need to feel relaxed. It helps definitely if you're having some anxiety, but also if you're feeling overwhelmed or you just need some type of relaxation. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over some anxiety and depression myth facts. This will help us get to know exactly what anxiety and depression are, what those two words mean, and the differences between those two words. So we'll go ahead and get started. So depression involves psychological, which means the brain, biological, which means the body, and environmental factors. Is that a fact or a myth? And that is indeed a fact. Depression does involve all three, and it can involve all three or maybe just one, but either way, all of those three, the brain, the body, and environmental factors have a big impact on depression. The next one is most people with depression need some kind of treatment to recover. Is that a fact or a myth? And that is indeed a fact. Depression is a disease which does need treatment. Some people think it just goes away, but it does not. Treatment is needed for depression. Depression can affect people of any age, nationality, or sex. Is that a myth or a fact? Yes, depression can indeed affect people of any age, nationality, or sex, even though there are some studies showing that women do have a higher or show a higher percentage of depression. Everyone, no matter what age, nationality, race, or sex, have been impacted by depression. Another one is everyone who is depressed thinks about suicide. This is something that a lot of people link depression to suicide. Is it a myth or a fact? It is a myth. Not everyone who experiences depression is suicidal. Talking with caring, supportive people about depression can help. Is this a myth or a fact? This is indeed a fact. You definitely need someone there, someone that you can go to and share, and that definitely helps. So now we're moving on to anxiety. Anxiety is a constant worry that makes it hard to do everyday tasks. Is this a myth or a fact? This is indeed a fact. It's not just normal worry. Anxiety will actually start impacting your everyday job or everyday tasks. Another one is anxiety can cause physical symptoms like headaches and upset stomach. And this is indeed a fact. Sometimes you might be feeling a little bit of a headache, your stomach's not feeling so well, and it's not necessarily a physical thing, but you are maybe experiencing some stress and some anxiety, and it has a direct impact on your body. So now we're going to start talking about the different definitions for depression and anxiety. We're going to start with depression. What exactly is depression? So, the definition of depression is a common and serious medical illness that causes extreme sadness, a loss of interest in enjoyed activities, and decreased functioning during everyday tasks. And here are some of the symptoms of depression. You might experience feeling sad, loss of interest in enjoyed activities, change in appetite or weight. Maybe you're having problems sleeping, too much or too little. There's change in physical activity. You feel like there's a loss of energy. You feel tired all the time. Maybe feeling worthless or guilty about something. Definitely a difficulty in thinking, concentrating, being able to focus and make decisions. And at times, sometimes thoughts of death or suicide as well. So I think all of us at some point have felt some of these things. I think the key here is if you are experiencing maybe 5 or more of these symptoms, and you're experiencing them for a period of more than 2 weeks, then there is a possibility that you are experiencing depression. Again, some of these symptoms are things that we all go through, but if there's a combination of more than 5 of these symptoms and you're exhibiting them or feeling them for a period of 2 weeks or more, then this would be considered depression. Now, the symptoms that we discussed prior to this were symptoms that you are noticing within yourself. If you are spotting, looking at your friends and feeling like maybe some of your friends might be depressed, these are some symptoms that you might be spotting in other people. A lack of energy, restlessness, agitation. Maybe you notice that your friend or family member is having trouble sleeping or sleeping more than usual. Poor appetite. Maybe there's some smoking, drinking, or usage of drugs. Maybe they were interested in some things and they've lost interest in all of those activities. If you notice that someone might be self-harming or feeling sad most of the time, or just exhibiting low self-confidence or self-esteem, and feeling helpless or hopelessness, that might be possible signs of depression in a friend or a family member. So we went over the symptoms of depression and what is depression, but we're going to go over exactly what is anxiety. So a lot of people ask me if anxiety is just generally normal, and some anxiety is definitely normal and healthy, especially during this time period, during middle school. It helps us to be aware of danger and pay attention to potentially risky situations. It really does keep us from making some bad choices sometimes. But what we're talking about, if there's a problem with anxiety, is when it starts interfering with everyday thinking, everyday functioning, and it becomes sort of a disorder. So it's a little bit more than just normal and healthy anxiety. So we're going to talk a little bit about anxiety disorders. This means it's a little bit more than just your normal, typical worries or anxieties. This is what we would call a common and serious medical illness that involves excessive fear of something and just excessive worry that keeps you from everyday functioning, and just does not make sense with the situation that you're dealing with. So here's some examples of anxiety disorders. There's generalized anxiety disorder. We'll go over that a little bit later. There's panic disorder. There's different phobias, things you're scared of or extreme fears of things. Agoraphobia, fear of places and situations. There's also social anxiety disorder, feeling extremely anxious and uncomfortable around peers and around people. And separation anxiety disorder, which is panicking and having a lot of anxiety when you are separated from a loved one, or just not around people that you are comfortable and feel safe with. So you might be asking yourself, is the anxiety that I have normal? Should I be worried? And so here's just a little bit of a description for generalized anxiety disorder symptoms. Excessive worry occurring on more days than not for 6 or more months about a number of events or activities. Difficulty just controlling the worry. You are overwhelmed by so much worry. If you exhibit 3 or more of these symptoms, which is restlessness or being keyed up, easily tired, difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle tension, sleep trouble, also distress or impairment in social work or other important areas of life. And these things are not due to the effects of substance or medical conditions. And again, if you have three or more of those symptoms and you're exhibiting them for more than 6 months, then this is when we would be asking questions if there is an anxiety disorder. So maybe you're worried about a friend or a family member. These are some symptoms that you can look out for in spotting anxiety in others. If you notice that they're extremely focused on details, they're having a hard time making decisions, they're avoiding social situations, backing out of plans last minute, they're missing more school, wanting to leave activities suddenly, anger, just being annoyed a lot, unexpected crying, maybe some physical symptoms like headaches or stomach trouble. Those might be symptoms of anxiety in others to look out for. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to help yourself or help others if you are exhibiting some of those symptoms, or you just have questions and want to know if you are. So these are some ways of how to help yourself. You definitely don't want to keep it to yourself. You want to talk to a trusted friend, family member, teacher, or counselor. Just letting them know how you're feeling is definitely helpful. If you are exhibiting those symptoms and you are concerned, seeing a doctor or a professional counselor, you can come to me. I can refer you to someone in the community that might be able to help you with this. You definitely want to make a safety plan just in those types of situations when you're not feeling well and you're feeling very overwhelmed. Who are your go-to people? What to do in those situations? Set daily goals. This is and breaking big tasks into smaller tasks are things that will also help anyone who's exhibiting anxiety or experiencing anxiety. Just breaking things down so they don't feel so overwhelming. Now, when it comes to helping others, these are some things that you can do. Not be afraid to ask someone how they're doing, listening to them, not judging, making them feel comfortable and them telling you how they're feeling, offering to go with the person to get help. Sometimes they might need some reassurance. Not minimizing, meaning, not saying things like it's not a big deal, don't worry about it, things will get better. And then also not keeping suicide a secret. If you hear that someone needs help, if they've confided in you and you are worried about their safety, please letting someone know so that we can definitely help and support. Just also wanted to share some resources with you guys that are very helpful that you can access. There's the Teen Line, which you can text TEEN, TEEN, to 839-863. There's also the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255, just to talk to someone, as well as the Trevor Project. You text START to 678-678, and usually you will get somebody on the other line that will speak with you and help you in whatever you might need. So we'll do a couple of facts and figures about depression and anxiety. The first one is depression affects blank percentage of Americans, and the answer to that is depression affects 10% of Americans. Another interesting figure is anxiety disorders affect blank percent of the US population every year. What would be your guess? And the answer to that is anxiety disorders affect 18% of the US population every year. So please remember, always talk to someone. Contact me by phone or through my Instagram account at Ida B. Wells MS Counselor if you want to talk, and make sure that you are taking care of yourself, extra care of yourself. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.